Hi guys, my name is Sarah Carlson. I am a junior at the University of Wyoming, and my favorite teacher would have to be Amy Ty. She was my yearbook teacher my sophomore and junior year of high school, and I have been out of high school for 4 years, and she's still my favorite teacher to this day. I would have to say that she's my favorite teacher just because of the relationship she had with her students. A lot of that had to do with the attitude she had as well. She went into her classroom every morning, not demanding respect because she was the teacher, but giving respect because she was the teacher. And she earned a lot of respect that way. I saw students go from completely disruptive in her classroom to striving for their educational goals in her classroom because of the attitude that she carried throughout her class. And it didn't matter if she was having a bad day, she knew that she put her whole heart into each class period and that she would teach her students what they deserved to be taught. And that went far beyond than the recommendations and the requirements that she has to teach. It went into after school and during her lunch hour. And if students needed help with a college resume, which a lot of us did because we have never been taught, she would stay after class and she would help every single one of us with them, and she would proofread things for us because she was also an English teacher, and she would make sure that we had the help we needed in other classrooms and not just hers. And I think that played into a lot of why she changed so many students' lives. And not only that, but she understood that students may be having a bad day in the classroom because they're having a bad day in the lunchroom or at home. And it wasn't just I'm going to distract the class because I don't feel like learning today. She fought to understand why we weren't doing so well that day, and she would be completely willing to talk to us about it. And I remember one day in, I think it was my junior year, I was part of the literary magazine, and a student had just committed suicide earlier, like 2 weeks before that, and I was going through all of the poems that were submitted, and I had just caught a poem from that same student, and it was about an illness invading his body. And of course, I blamed myself for not catching it, and I broke down in the middle of her classroom. And she walked me to the counselor's office, and she put her teaching on hold so that she could understand why I wasn't doing well that day. And she fought to help me get better after that. And that's something I haven't forgotten, and I still think about that every time I lack motivation in school, because another time I was just going through a hard time with some other students, and I had lost all my motivation to learn, and she talked to me, and she motivated me, and she helped me get right back on track. And so I think of her every time I'm not motivated or I didn't study well for a test, and she puts me right back in the right spot where any other teacher I don't know would have done that. And I respect her so much for that, and she made it so good to learn in that class because she didn't act like she was perfect either. She talked to us about what was going on in her life, which at an appropriate level, and she made us realize that teachers aren't perfect and that they make mistakes just like students do, and that they have their own lives going on too. But I also saw that she put her whole heart into her classroom, and that she took home work, and if she was busy, she would make time to help us. And I just really appreciate that from her, and that's something that has changed my life ever since. So thank you for listening.